In this video, I'm going to give a Star Wars Legion player their first ever game of Star Wars Shatterpoint and see what they think of it. Hey guys, Rich from Richmond Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. Welcome to this, another Star Wars Shatterpoint video. This one is a little bit different. It is part of a battle report. It's not going to be a full battle report, but I've got my good friend Paul from Paul Rolls Dice. We've collaborated with him before, actually on some Legion content, plus a couple of other things as well. But he has never played Star Wars Shatterpoint, and I've been telling him for weeks and weeks and months that he needs to come over, have a game, or I'll go over to him. So I went over to Paul's house the other night after work. We set everything up and we played through a full game of Star Wars Shatterpoint. So we'll jump over to the video and see what you guys think. Okay guys, so I'm here with Paul. Paul, this is your first ever game of Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Very first, yeah.
But you've played quite a bit of Legion, haven't you?
Yeah, big Legion play. Me and you've played it a few times, haven't
yeah,
we?
we've done some recordings actually for the channel, haven't we?
Yeah, a couple of recordings. I've not seen anything of this, so I'm going in fully blind. So I've had the rundown from you, so we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I've cheated him. I've made sure I'll win, but
what else is new?
So Paul, the first thing we need to do is obviously deploy.
Yeah.
Actually, the first thing we need to do is decide who is going to be the first player. But before we do that, we'll just run down what we've brought. So I'll let you pick. Then I gave you a rundown of how all the strike teams work and everything like that. But do you want to just run through your two squads?
Yeah, so forgive my terminology if I get them wrong, but we've got Count Dooku as my leader.
Yeah.
And Django would be my primary.
Secondary, yeah.
Magna Guards as the
support unit.
Support of those. And then for the second team as well, we've got Maul, Savage Press, and B2 Battle Droids.
Cool. So Paul's gone dark. So to keep it thematic, I've gone light. Well, depending on, spoiler alert, one of them doesn't turn out to be too light in the end, does it? But we've got General Obi-Wan Kenobi as our first primary. We've got Rex as our first secondary. Republic Clone Commandos rounding out that first squad. Then we've got General Anakin Skywalker with secondary Padawan Ahsoka Tano, and then the 501st Clone Troopers. So Paul, let's roll dice. So you get 5 dice.
Yep.
And what you're looking for are strikes and crits. Okay. So that symbol there is a strike.
Yep.
And that symbol there is a crit. So whoever rolls the most crits wins. If it's a draw on crits, we go to strikes. If we get the same, it's just a re-roll.
Okay.
So I get a grand total of 2.
I just get 1.
You get 1. So I get to deploy first, and I become the first player. So I've got 2 of these, so I'll hand you one over there.
Yep.
I'll start off. Now, a little tip, Paul, because what you want to try and do when you deploy is cover all of those back points.
Right, yeah.
So if you deploy directly in the middle of one and put your primary there like so, and then go range 1 up with either of your supports, secondaries, whatever it is.
Right.
And then they're the other side. And then I'll just put this one as far forward as they can go. If you then look, with one squad, we've managed to cover 2 points there.
Right, okay.
So then you take whichever of your squads you want to deploy.
Right, okay, yeah, we'll do Dooku then. So from the edge.
Yeah, from the edge of the board, so range 2 up.
Put him right into the middle like there.
Yeah.
And then it's range 1.
Range 1, yeah. Range 1 out for all of your...
So the Magna Guards, do they have to stay within range 1 of each other, or...?
Nope, they're completely independent when it comes to their movement on the board.
Okay.
But as we mentioned, they do use...
So I could just place him there?
So, no, so they've got... Each character has to be within range 1 of Dooku.
Oh, I get you, right.
Yeah,
okay.
so they've got to be... They've got to be within 1 of Dooku.
Okay, so I'll put him there then.
Yep.
Okie doke. Oh, moving.
And then you've just got Django to put there as well.
And then Django's range 1 from...
Yep. So everyone, that becomes like the anchor point of the deployment.
So if I pop him there then, and then I would be in... Yeah.
Yeah, you should be.
Lovely.
So I'll do exactly the same then with Obi-Wan. And if you can just deploy, mate, at the same time, just so just so it speeds things up a little bit.
Speed 2 there, so we stick Maul there. And then speed 1, we've got Savage there. And then the old battle droids.
Got clone commando there. And then clone commando there, like so.
There. And then if I stick one there, lovely.
So then the other things we need to do, we've got our force already. So obviously you've got
7.
Dooku and Maul bringing you 7. I've got Anakin and Obi-Wan bringing me 7 as well. So we then need to just give our order cards a quick shuffle. Now, I've seen some people split them and all sorts and things, but it's pretty standard card game, isn't it? And then the last thing we need to do is choose which of the first struggles we're going to be playing. So again, I'll just give them a little shuffle, and it's going to be recon enemy positions. Now, the way that we position this, whoever the first player is, we orientate the map towards the first player. So the active ones are going to be these ones here.
Flip the others.
So you can flip this and flip this, and then flip that one for you. Okay. So you can now see why it's important to cover all the back points, because you don't know which of them are going to be active when it comes to the first turn. So I'm player 1, so I will pick my first order card, and it's going to be General Anakin Skywalker. Now I don't want to go with Anakin first because it'd be a move and something else. I wouldn't get to do much with him, so I'm going to put him in reserve, and that'll cost me a force to do. So then I get my Shatterpoint, which is equally not very good.
Yeah,
I have got my Shatterpoint paw, which is not great for me, but it does mean that I can activate or go with any of the characters that I want to. So I'm going to go with Captain Rex. And the reason I'm going to go with Captain Rex is he has one of those tactics. Now, his tactic is he lets me move any other Galactic Republic character, and they get to make a dash. So it just means I'm able to get some other characters up the board. So I'm going to start by doing that itself. So I'm actually going to take Anakin, and we're going to move Anakin using that dash tool up to here like so. And because we finished that movement within range 1, we're going to use that ingress point and move ourselves up to here. So just getting those bigger characters who don't have range attacks further up the board. Now we're going to go with Rex proper. So the first thing we are going to do is use something called defensive maneuvers. So that's one of his active abilities. And sorry, Anakin also gets a hunger token for using that tactic as well. So we're going to use defensive maneuvers. It costs us a force, so we're going to spend a force to do that. And he is going to make a dash. Once again, we get to use that ingress point, taking us up to here. That's going to give him a hunger token as well. And then I'm just going to check. So we haven't actually made an action yet, although we've done a couple of things. We've not used any of our actions up. So what he is going to do is make a move up to here. And he's going to get a little bit ballsy and see if with his range 5 attack he has anybody in range. Now when we're measuring range, it's all from a top-down view, so you don't hold it back or anything like that.
Just top-down but line of sight, or is it?
Yeah,
okay.
So that looks to me,
I'd say looking at those battle droids,
like we're in with into the battle droids. In fact, let me just an easier way to do it actually. If we do it that way,
yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it looks like he's in there. So I now get to make an attack. So when we're making an attack, there's 2 different types. There is a ranged attack that not all characters have. And if they've got a ranged attack, you'll see the dice underneath. And you'll also see the range as well. So on his tactical supremacy, on his stance card, you can see it's range 5, which is what he's able to do. So it's going to be 7 dice. So 2, 4, 6, 7. And then if you look at your B2s, if you look at your range, that'll show you 4. The blue and the number of dice that you've got as well. So I'll give you those dice there. In fact, let's just get that out of the way because I don't really think we need that. So I roll my dice first. And we take move the fails to one side. So these are fails. So these are not going to do anything for me.
Okay.
But some characters have some abilities that trigger off that.
So 3 hits.
So I've got 1 crit.
Yep.
And then I've got 3 strikes.
Right.
Now, a crit can't be blocked.
Right.
But a strike can be blocked. So
okay.
you roll your 4 dice. Yep, your 4 dice. So you're blocking 3.
Nope. Put that there. That's a fail, is it?
So that's a fail. So that moves out of the way.
Okay.
You're blocking 3.
Yep.
So your 3 blocks take out my 3 strikes, and it ends me with just 1 success.
Yep.
Now we've worked out how many successes I've got. You then go to your tree. So every character or every unit has their own combat tree.
Right.
So they vary for different characters. They're all completely different. And they're going to have different things that they can do on there. So the little symbol that looks like an explosion, that's going to be a damage. The little arrow symbol pointing is a shove. So you can push a character off a point. But for this one, I'm just going to do 2 damage. But your B2 battle droids have something called protection.
Right.
So if you look at their actual character card, you can see there that they've got protection, which means when they take damage from an attack, they reduce it by 1. So actually, you're only going to take 1 damage, on there, because it would be 2, but it goes down to 1.
Okay.
So now it's the end of at the end of my turn. We then check for points.
Right.
So even though you haven't gone yet, we still check yours as well.
Okay.
So I believe you'll have 1 there that you control.
Just that one there,
I have this one here that I control as well. And because I moved Rex up, I'm also going to get to control that one.
Just pop them in there. Okay.
Yeah, they just pop in. Now, usually, this is where we would then go to the struggle tracker and we would score our points. Right. However, because I'm the first player on the first turn of the game never scores anything. So now the play passes back over to you and you get to choose what it is you want to do.
So we just draw a card first.
Draw a card first, yep.
Shatterpoint one.
So it's your Shatterpoint card. So you've got a couple of options here.
Yeah.
You can use it on any character whatsoever. Or you can spend a force. You can put it to one side, draw another card, and then shuffle the Shatterpoint back in.
Okay.
So it's completely up to you. Ideally, what you want to be trying to do on your first activation is make sure you're scoring at least 2 points. That's typically what you want to try and achieve.
Right. I'm just thinking. So is it within 1 of a ladder I can just auto climb it?
So if you finish a movement action, so anything that uses the advance, which is the big one there that you've got, or the dash tool, which is that one there, whether it's an action or whether it's some out of action movement that you get, as long as you finish within 1, then you can use that.
Okay, right. So my plan was, if I can get Maul to there, I can climb up.
Yeah.
And take a swing at Cody at some point.
So first of all, that's Rex.
Rex, sorry.
It's not like they all look the same, Paul, for God's sake.
Putting some stain on his name there.
Now, Maul is a really good choice here because Maul is all about the damage. That's what he does. Now, as I think I told you before, Paul.
Yeah, it's not about tabling or killing, really. It's point allocated, point scoring.
Taking people out is also a really good way to score points as well, especially if you've got Maul. And Maul isn't going to use any of your force. And for every 3 damage he takes, when he makes an attack, he gets to add 1 dice to that melee attack.
Right.
So you can take damage rather than using force. And Maul does have something there called, I can't remember his top active ability there.
That's force speed.
So he can make a full advance
and
take 1 damage for that advance.
Each character in this unit may... So does that spend a force to use it?
It would cost a force, or you can actually take 1 damage instead. He also has another ability, which is called his next active one.
There is no place to run.
Yeah, so that's going to allow you to pull a character within range 3 towards you range 2. But it also gives them something called an expose.
Right.
Now, an expose, if you look at your cards, you've got some expertise fields. So if you ever roll an expertise on
Yep.
either attack or
Oh,
defense,
you activate these
they do
things.
different things.
Right.
It turns them off. So any
Ah.
expertise that I roll, I
Turns
don't
it.
get to include them in my roll. It's a really, really nice way of taking
Yeah.
out big characters. Like if you look at Dooku, for example,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of dice manipulation. He can turn crits into fails. It just turns all of that extra defensive capability off. So
Right.
Maul's actually a really good choice here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what then. I'll move Maul and we'll see what happens with that one.
Yep.
Right.
So
I'd do that.
Before you activate Maul, Paul,
Yeah.
and this is where the synergy comes.
All right.
If you take a look at Savage Opress,
Yep.
he has an active ability, sorry, an innate ability, I believe,
Oh yeah.
that lets him make a movement. So if you look at his card here,
Yeah. Primary unit. Is it that one?
Unwitting Brute.
Yeah.
So when a Dathomirian
okay.
or Separatist, now he is Dathomirian,
Yep.
when they activate, he gets to make a dash for free, as long as that character is within range 2.
Yeah, and the dash is this one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you can move.
So move Maul first. Or do we do?
So you
Savage
move
first?
Savage first because
Okay.
Maul doesn't have a tactic.
Right. Okay. So we just do that.
So it's just, again, it's just a way of being able to get your other
Yeah.
characters.
So at the end of this dash, would he be allowed to climb for free as well?
He would be allowed to climb for free as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that then.
Now, the only thing I would say is you want to make sure, if you are going to pull Rex off there, remembering that when you pull or push, you collide with the first thing.
Okay.
So you just want to make sure. So like if you put him right up to the end here,
Yeah.
then you're still going to have an angle because it's always a 90-degree angle when we do pushes and pulls. So you can put him to the very top there.
So I'd go. So I want him in there, tucked in there.
Yeah, you want him tucked in. If you put him up to sort of there-ish, you've still got an angle to be able to pull him off.
So that's that.
Said the vicar. So now you get to go with Maul.
Yep.
So you get to do your normal move.
So I would move him there.
Now you can choose. It doesn't look like you're quite within
I might have to.
the ingress there.
Yeah.
But you can take. So you'll take a damage for that
Mhm.
because you don't want to use your actions on it.
Yeah.
So you take a damage. So you put 1 damage on him.
Mhm.
Now, if you take 2 more damage, putting you up to 3, you're going to be able to pull Rex off and bring him to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Rather than you having to go to him.
Yeah, we'll try that then.
So you'll go up to 3 damage taken, but Maul really doesn't mind about that.
Yeah.
So when we're measuring, so I'll just show you how we measure it. So you essentially imagine a straight line between the 2 centers of the bases, line that up with it, and that's your 90-degree arc that you can pull people towards. So from here, you can pull Rex off in that sort of direction, and it'll take him down, and you just want to make sure he ends up within range 2 of Maul, because then you could actually smash him in his face.
So it's just there. Would he take? There's fall damage?
There's no fall. There's no fall damage in this game.
So we'd go there then.
Yep.
Essentially.
So now you're giving him an expose as well. And right now, once again, you have not used any actions whatsoever.
So I could go straight into combat.
Yeah. So the one thing I would check is if Savage is within 2, which he is. You don't even need to worry about getting up to this point.
Oh, because I've captured.
Because Savage is already capturing that now as well. So from here, you could do one of 2 things. You can just attack him using your what would normally be 6 dice on that side.
Yeah.
But we'll flip him in a second and put him onto a slightly better side. Or you could take a focus and then attack.
Right.
The benefit of a focus is that's going to give you 1 extra dice on top of your attack.
Right.
But it then means you don't have any other actions.
Okay.
Whereas if you just attack, because you've not used an action yet to move,
I could move as well.
You can still move again, and you could move to here
and get that.
And be within 2 of this. And you're actually going to capture 3 points.
Yeah, I think,
irrespective.
Yeah, we'll go for that then. So I'll do a basic attack then.
Yep.
Which
so what you want to do
6 dice.
is you can have 6 dice, but if you look at the other side of his card, that's his more stabby attack side.
Less defensive.
Less defense, but more attack.
Yeah.
So again, that's a decision that you can make.
Double lightsaber. Okay.
And you don't just want to look at the number of dice.
Yeah.
You want to look at the options, what we call options along your tree as well.
Right.
And you'll see that on the other side, the more aggressive side, he's got a lot more damage a lot earlier
Yeah,
on.
I'm just thinking I'm going to stay on this side because he's got more defense options with this one because I know he's going to get tickled by someone in the future, I think.
I mean, there is an Anakin inbound, so...
Yeah, so we'll go defensive, I think, then.
So you would be 6 dice,
Yep. So
but because of Maul's identity,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to put that up to 7 because you've taken 3 damage.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to roll 5 dice normally.
Yep.
And usually, I would have lost that hunker token.
Right.
So the moment you become engaged, you lose a hunker token.
Right.
But Obi-Wan's ability is all around his characters being
Defensive.
able to keep them.
Right.
And because I've got a hunker token, I get to add 1 more dice
Okay.
to my attack roll, even though it's a melee attack
Right.
and not a ranged attack.
Right. So I'm rolling on 6 then.
You should be 7 dice, yeah. So you roll yours first.
We've got a crit, 2 crits, 2 hits, 2 crits, 3
2
misses.
hits, 2 crits, 3 misses. Cool, cool, cool. So
Okay.
I will roll my dice here. Now, my fail goes to one side.
Mm-hmm.
They would normally turn into an extra block.
Yeah, but because
you exposed me, I can't
Right.
use that.
So you soak normal damage, but you can't soak crits.
Can't soak crits.
Okay.
So they get rid of them.
Yep.
So they go to there. So you're left with 2 options
Yep.
or 2 successes, which means you can move twice along your tree. You
Right.
always have to start on one of the orange.
Yep.
So
we're on that.
you can sometimes have more than one. So if you look at Dooku, for example, he's got 2 starting points,
Mm-hmm.
and you always have to move from left to right.
Right.
You can never come back on yourself.
Yeah. So what do the symbols mean then for?
So on Maul's, for example,
Yeah.
let's have a quick look here. What
So,
you've got.
So number 1's moving there anyway.
So number 1 is going to be 2 damage
Mm-hmm.
and a shove. So what a
Ah.
shove does is it's a range 1 push
Mm-hmm.
in away from you.
Right.
So again, it's that 90-degree
Yeah.
arc.
Right.
But you can also follow up as well.
Right.
Now, either of those are optional.
Mm-hmm.
So you can push him and not follow up.
Mm-hmm.
You can not push him and follow up.
Right.
But Rex does have something called steadfast.
Okay.
So steadfast will basically block that first one that you've got there.
Okay.
The next one, obviously 2 more damage.
Yeah.
So you'll be 4 damage in total, is a reposition. So reposition is a full move, and you can do it even when you're engaged. So you get to make a full advance.
Right.
So you really start to be able to get
I know
around the board really, really easily.
Right. That sounds better than. Yeah. I think we'll do that then.
Yep. So you're going to do. So it's going to be 4 damage.
So 4 damage.
Yep.
And then I reposition, so I'm within 2 of this.
Yep.
To capture that.
Exactly that.
If I
Yeah.
get the,
so you got the long
yeah.
tool there.
Can
So
I pass through enemies? Does it matter? Or
Yeah, you can go over the top
Over.
of enemies.
Right.
Yeah, unless it's stated on their card.
I mean,
yeah, you
I'm
can
within
do that.
2 there, so I'll just put him there. Just
Yep.
so he's out of Anakin's eyeballs for now.
So now you've got. So you're still engaged there,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to move yourself ever so slightly over this way,
Yeah.
So you were out of 2.
All right, I'd still be on that, but not in.
You'd still be on, but out of engagement,
Mhm.
and you've still got an action to take.
Right.
So from here, you could do one of 2 things. At least in my you really could only do one of 3 things.
Elevate myself.
Number 1 is use your last one to make a climb.
Yep.
To actually be on the same elevation as that.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is leaving you exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I only have these 2 units that can
Yeah.
do any shooty.
And I'm on my defensive side anyway. So I've
You're
got
on
a
your
few
defensive
options.
side. You could do a take cover, which is that range 1 push in any direction.
Yep.
And then you gain a hunker token. So you're
Right.
going to get more dice against ranged attacks.
Yeah.
Or you can do a recover.
Right.
So all units have the ability to heal themselves. So recover action lets you either remove 1 damage or 1 condition
Right.
from yourself or any other character within range 2.
Okay.
So you could drop your down. You could drop your damage that you've taken. You could get up here so you're fully contesting it.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect you for the points this game. You could get a little bit more defensive, or you could put yourself out in the open and
Yeah. Right. I'll tell you what I'll do then, because Rex has gone anyway.
Rex has already
So
gone.
I'm
Well, Rex has gone with the Shatterpoint.
Yeah.
So he
but
still
you would
has his
still be able to
card
activate it,
available.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So
Maul,
he's still
I've
got an
got-
action. So Maul still has a
Yeah,
card in
okay.
there that he gets to use. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Okay then. And you said if I'm on it now, but if you've got elevation, it supersedes me.
Exactly that. Yeah. So if
Okay,
Anakin was to move to here,
Yeah.
he flips that.
And you've not used Anakin yet, and he's in reserve.
And he is in He's in there, yeah.
I'm going to be open to elements and some blaster fire, but we're going to risk it.
So you're going to risk it
So
and,
we're going to
and
go
pop him up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do I take one of these? Am I the red ones?
Yeah. Now, a little hint
Yep.
when you're actually on elevation, because as you've seen, you can be pushed off.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always... So lots of characters have shoves available.
Maybe put him there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what would happen there, where you were before,
Yeah.
you clear that.
Yeah.
So you can be pushed off it.
Right.
If you're there...
Oh, and you don't clear it with your base.
If you don't clear it with your base...
You just
so here, for example,
yeah,
you go back to the last legal position.
Right. Okay.
So you wouldn't be shoved off.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that then.
Yep.
Okay. And then that's...
Cool.
That's
so
done.
that's your activation done. Now we check for...
Points.
What you're controlling. So obviously you've got...
Yeah.
Savage even. So now you score 3. So you move the struggle tracker 3 towards you.
So that's that one. So there.
So now you're on 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I've got the option of either going with Anakin.
Yeah. Or drawing.
Or drawing another card. So I think what I'm going to do is draw another card for the moment. So I've got Snips. So Snips is a very similar thing to Commander X, where she's got a tactic.
Yep.
This one's called Racia. I can move any Galactic Republic primary or any Jedi primary.
Right.
So either of these two. And once again, they get to do a dash.
Yeah.
Just chop me over those things. So they get to do a dash. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't quite think... Yeah, Obi-Wan's not going to be able to get there. However... If I move Anakin over here like so, he'll be within range 2 of that. So it means that I get to pick up that extra point.
Yeah.
So now from here then, I get to do my normal activation. So I am going to, excuse me, first of all, do a movement action. So I'm going to move her over to here.
Yeah.
And when you're moving, you can finish your movement as long as you're touching the movement tool.
Yep.
You can finish
At any
anywhere
point
on there.
Yeah.
We take the movement by the size of the tool, not the character.
Right.
So that's fine because it's touching up against.
Yeah.
But what I couldn't do was do that because then it's overlapping.
Yeah. Right.
Overlapping terrain.
Okay.
I'm then going to spend a force to use She is Fearless, which is essentially just a jump. So that jump isn't going to quite get me to the top of there. I just miss it. But it does leave me within range 1 of this ingress point that's there.
Oh, and you can just climb.
So I can then use that ingress point and put myself up to here like so.
Okay.
And now I'm going to, because you've taken put some damage on her favourite clone in all the world.
Best boy.
She's going to hit you back. Now, with a secondary and with a support unit right now in the game, there are no, what's the word? There are no options on the stance card. It's just the same one.
Okay.
So I'm going to be rolling my 7 dice. And then if you check Maul's card, you'll see...
Yeah, we're 6.
6.
Okay, and I don't get... There's no defensive bonuses, but if I roll that symbol, I do activate blocks.
The extra blocks, yeah. You've got no dice manipulation, but... So... that's not a bad roll.
2 and a crit. So what are these then? Do we...
So they're expertise.
Okay,
so if I look at my chart here,
yeah, you get bonuses.
You can see that 3.
Yep.
So 1 to 3. So I've got 3. They're going to turn into 2 strikes.
Okay. Right.
And then that one disappears. So it leaves me with 4 strikes and a crit. Wowzers.
Okay.
So all the blocks in the world.
Yeah, and then 1 to 3 gives me just a block.
Yep.
So that would go like that.
You're going to take away all my strikes.
And I take a crit.
So, and it's important to note as well, especially with Dooku, we actually take them off the board. So they're removed from the dice pool. Okay. So when you block them, they're taken out completely.
Right, okay.
So I'm left with just 1 crit, which gives me 1 success.
Yep.
Which does give me... So it's going to be 1 damage.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a shove.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is my shove.
Oh, yeah.
So once again, it's like this here. So I'm going to shove you.
Yeah. So I'm off that point now, essentially.
This direction here, yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll take you down to there.
Okay.
Once again, no fall damage.
Yeah.
I could now follow up. So when you're following up, we do it from the character that's moving towards the character there.
Right.
No real value for me in that one, so I'm just going to stay where I am.
Yeah.
And then that's her, all her actions done.
Yep.
You don't have anything in retort. So game when we check, I will pick up this one in the middle. And because we moved Anakin over, we'll also score this one as well. So I'll score 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And that's going to put us in the middle, which now means we both gain a momentum.
Ah, okay.
So you gain a momentum and I gain a momentum.
Right.
And then, yeah, that's the end of the activation. So back over to you.
Right, we have Magna Guards. Okie doke. So Magna Guards, they've got some kind of synergy with. So it's just defensive.
Synergy. Yeah, so they're very mobile.
Yeah.
So when another primary
they get to
unit goes, but it has to be a separatist unit. They get to follow them basically.
Right. Okay.
So let me give you that. I've only got one set of movement tools. So
yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can get my pals within 2 of that. Probably would, wouldn't I? So with this guy though, I'd have to move him like that.
You would have to move him like that.
Defo wouldn't. He's not getting in.
So he couldn't get in with just that. But remember, you can then do the you can then do a take cover, which lets you do a range 1 push as well. And because you go front to back, that range 1 push is actually quite far.
So I'd push Anakin out. Maybe.
You wouldn't know. You'd push yourself.
Push it right.
So you're taking cover basically.
Oh, right.
So then if you have 2 characters that are contesting
I get that.
You would then take that point. Yeah.
So if we do that then, so if I'll move my first guy first then.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we can do this. So we move him there.
So he moves up.
Yep.
Then the next one also has to take the action as well. Yep.
I've got to sort my base out, aren't I?
That works. Yeah.
So I'd have to go there.
So he'll move up to there.
Yep. But then it'd be a push 1.
Yeah, you can use any of these tools because it's a little bit easier with some of the bigger ones. So for example, you push him up there first.
So he'd go
He's
there.
easily within range 2.
Yep.
And then that one comes and does the same.
Could I climb him?
No. So because you haven't used a movement tool, you wouldn't be able to climb up there. Now, if you have done it the other way, you could have done
pushed
and then advanced. But I don't know if you'd have definitely got 2 on. But yeah, I didn't realise there was an ingress point there, so you could have done that.
Right. I mean, smart money would say I'd do that. So shall I just do that?
Yeah, you can do that, mate. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
So he just sits there. But I mean, he can get pushed off, can't he?
Yeah, so you cannot overlap.
Ah, okay.
But we ignore this.
Oh,
so you can
essentially
put yourself on there like
it's a control point, but it's not a piece of terrain.
It's not a piece of terrain, so it doesn't stop pushers, it doesn't do anything like that.
Okay. As for actions left with these pals, then I don't know if they've got much to do.
Well, that's 2 actions.
Oh, that's 2. Sorry, yeah.
So that's your 2 actions,
right,
which is pretty standard for those guys.
Yeah.
You always want to try and make sure that you're changing the board state in some way.
Yeah.
So whether you're capturing a point, or whether you're actually wounding a character, pushing a character off somewhere, that's typically what you want to try and do.
Yeah.
So you've taken that one.
Done.
So you will score 3.
Yeah.
So move the struggle tracker up 3.
Yeah. Right, you'll go.
And then, I think because you've given me a lovely target to go for, I'm probably going to take Anakin.
Makes sense.
Out of
he's waiting.
Out of there.
He's waiting.
So he will now lose his hunker token.
Yep.
So at the beginning of your activation, you always lose any hunker tokens that you've got. So that goes to one side there. So I think what he's going to do is spend a force to do a force jump. So he's going to move himself up to here. So he's now engaged with the Magna Guard. You would have actually gained a hunker token, by the way, when you did that take cover. But now, because we're engaged, you lose it anyway. So he's paid a force to do that.
Yep.
He's going to focus
to
give himself an extra dice. Which side do we want to be on? We're going to flip to our Form 5 gem suit, which is just our more aggressive one. So we're going to be rolling 8 dice.
Yep. I roll 5 defense.
2, 4, 6, 8. And then we're actually going to use a focus as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to increase that by 1. And then let me just check if I've got anything there. No, they're out of range at the moment. So it'll be 9 dice into your 5.
5, yeah.
And that is a hell of a lot of fails. From
got?
9 dice,
Oof,
that is 6.
Oh,
6 fails.
Okay, so my defense is 5.
Yeah.
Blocking.
So my 1 expertise
Yep.
turns into a crit.
Okay, doc.
You get all the blocks in the world. Yeah. Take away my strikes. So that is going to be 3 damage that I get to put on.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's just grab them there.
Lovely. I'm grabbing a 1.
They're all double-sided.
Oh, the doubles are
Yeah,
there.
the doubles.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice.
Now,
right.
I did mention that
Yep.
You can only make 1 attack in a game.
But Anakin is OP, so clearly he can take 2.
Anakin can spend 2 force.
Of course he can. He's the chosen one.
And do something called I'm going to end this.
Right.
So basically, he gets to make another attack against the same character because you've whiffed, you've not done him in 1 shot.
Yeah, let's
so
hope he does better this time, Anakin. Them. Come on.
So this time, that focus doesn't carry over.
So you roll 8.
So it's just going to be an 8 dice.
Let's put his glasses on today, Anakin.
Attack.
Come on. What we got?
And that's a hell of a lot better.
That's way better. That's everything.
That is a lot of stuff.
Right.
So I'll let you roll yours first.
This is where I need all of defense now. 2 fails.
So that I think that turns into 2 blocks for you.
Yeah, it's not individual, is it? It's if you got that many symbols, that equates to the amount of blocks.
Exactly that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can't ever go. So if I rolled 4 of them, I'd still only get 2 blocks.
You'd still only get the 2 blocks. Yeah. Right. So you're blocking. Is it 2 that you get with that?
Yeah, 2. So I'm blocking 4.
So you're blocking 3.
3. Sorry. Yeah. 3.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 expertise, which turns into 3 crits for me. That one does nothing, so I'm now on 5 crits and 2 strikes. Right. So you can get rid of the strikes.
So I'll take a fat 5.
But it does leave me with 5, which, as you can probably imagine, is going to be quite spicy. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage.
9 damage.
Yeah, now you can take over your allowed damage, so you don't stop at 10. You keep going over. So you'd essentially be on 12 damage there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to give you some conditions as well. So I'm going to give you a strain, and I'll explain in a second what that does. And I'm going to give you a pin. Now, what a pin does is the next time you would make a movement of any sort, whether it's your own action or given to you by somebody else, you don't get to do it, and you remove your pin.
Right.
A strain is the next time you do pretty much anything at the end of that action, you're going to take 3 damage.
Right. Okay.
But we'll get onto some clever stuff about how you can remove them in a second. So what happens now is because I have wounded you, I get a momentum. So I get an extra momentum for doing that damage.
Right.
And Anakin has something called, this is where the fun begins.
Yeah.
When a character in this unit wounds an enemy primary or secondary unit, after the effect is resolved, move the struggle 1 token space towards your momentum tokens. So usually I would get to do that, but they are a support unit. So it doesn't trigger off a support. It only triggers off primaries and secondaries. So nothing goes on with his leadership there. So we're now done. We finished the turn up. Now because you're wounded, so I'll give you a wounded token.
So do I remove that 3?
No, so you keep all of your damage on.
Right, so
you get the wounded token.
So that becomes a 9.
You don't you don't really need to worry too much about the damage on any other character but Maul.
Right.
That's the only one that really affects it at the moment.
Okay.
So you've got your wounded token there.
Yeah.
So they can no longer contest this. So even though you're within 2, that now flips back over to me.
Right.
So I'll just use that there.
Yep.
So it's easy. So I'm now again scoring 3. 1, 2, 3. It moves into the middle. So we both gain a momentum.
Yep. Okay.
And then again, it flips
back to me.
Back over to you.
Okay, right. So we have Savage. Don't really want to use him yet, so could I spend a force to put him in reserve?
Yep, you can spend a force and put him in reserve.
So we flip that over. And then I've got to activate this guy.
Yep, whoever's next is the one that you've got to activate.
Django, okay.
Django Fett.
Good stuff. Right, so Django's jetpack, is that part of a move, or do I just get to, do I pay a force just to do it?
Yeah, you get a force just to do that.
Right, okay. So I'll spend a force and just do a jump.
Yep, exactly that. So a jump is going to be a dash tool.
Oh, okay. Can I do that at any point during his activation? Because it might make more sense doing it.
Yeah, you can do it at any point, mate.
Right,
so you don't have to. You can do actions first and then do other things.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just thinking. I want to get up. I want to get up to Ahsoka, really. So could I? So if I did the jump up there.
Yep.
So
now, what you might want to do, because it's something that Django has, that is again the Mandalorians, or he's not quite a Mandalorian, is he? But they have this synergy where they get to trigger things off other things.
Okay.
So if he was to make a focus action,
right,
as part of that, he gets to do a jump for free.
Oh, okay.
So if he
focus is what?
Focus is 1 extra dice on the next attack that you make.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so that makes more sense.
What he could do from here is make a focus.
Yeah.
Jump up to exactly where you were showing before.
Make an attack, then
make an attack.
Yeah.
And you've still got your jetpack left if you then want to get into. But you'll see on his stance card, he's actually got the ability to do jumps from some of his options. So he's got pushes, he's got jumps, he's got a free ability.
Right.
So if you get the free ability, you can actually do the jump for free.
Right.
So you can't double jump. You can only ever use an active ability once per activation, even if it's a free one.
So if I'll do focus first, then do my jump there.
Yep. So that jump will take you up to there.
That puts me up to there. Then I could make an attack if I'm in range.
Yep. So you've got to be within range 4.
Range 4, yeah.
Which I think you are. Yep. Easily.
Okay. So I'd make an attack now then, and that gives me 1 extra dice.
It does, yeah. So you're 6 normally. So that'll put you up to 7.
Yeah, I was looking. So when I was counting your attack, I was counting these as damage. It's successes,
It's successes, yeah. And then you translate them over to...
Yeah, it's sinking in now.
Yeah.
So we're on 7, was it?
Yep. Okay. So I'm on 5. Now, even though I'm a higher elevation than you...
There's no high ground.
I'm not benefiting from cover because I don't have a hunker token.
Okay, right. Come on, Django.
So only 1 fail.
Yeah, so we've got 6 hits. Well, 6 successes. There we go.
So keep that fail there because I do have a little cheeky thing that I'm going to do back to you. So I'm blocking 1, and then my 1 expertise gives me 2 blocks.
Ah, nice.
Which is quite.
So does that knock me down to 3 successes?
That's going to take 3 strikes out of yours.
Okay.
You now get to move along 3 on your track.
So we always
again starting with the orange one.
So I start with 2 damage base.
Yep. So we put 2 damage into the damage pool.
So the next one is 1 damage and a symbol I've not seen. It's like a teardrop or something.
That is a strain.
Oh, okay. So we
take
one
of
those.
Put a strain on me as well. Yep.
Then I'll go. So is this my 1, 2? So I'm going to there essentially.
No, so the first one counts as one of them.
So I'd be going to there.
Yep. So you can either do a jump.
Yeah.
Or do your free active ability.
Right. So what I'd do is I'll do the jump because that's another 2 damage.
Yep.
So 2
more damage in the pool.
Yep. So that's 5 total.
So it's 5 damage in total.
And then I also get to do a free jump.
Then you get to do a free jump.
So
the order that we do them in.
Yeah.
Is you pick the way that you're going.
Yep.
You then execute anything of your actions, but in order.
Right.
So you first give me the strain.
Yep.
And then you get to do a jump.
Okay. Right. So then I'd just, all it's going to be is just to there pretty much.
Yep.
So we'll just go there.
You jump to there. Yep.
Then I've got.
Then you apply the damage, which is 5.
Okay.
Then you would finish anything that is on your expertise tree. Now, you don't have anything on your expertise tree to do.
Okay.
So there's nothing there.
Right.
I don't have anything on my expertise tree to do.
Yep.
Now, if I'd have got 1 more, so if I'd have got 1 more expertise, I'd have had a jump, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So then we look at after damage abilities.
Right.
Now, you're the attacking character. So the attacking character always resolves. There's 2 things that happen at the same time. You always get priority, so you always get to go first.
Right.
If you have multiple things that happen in the same time, you get to choose the order in which you do them.
Right.
Now, Django doesn't have any after attack active abilities, but I do.
Okay.
So I have something called deflect. So you've made a ranged attack against me, and you had a fail.
Yep.
in your result. So I'm essentially blasting one of
Bounce
those
it.
back at you,
Yep.
and you take 2 damage
Okay.
for that. So I'll give you a 2 there.
Yep. And then...
But now you've still got a couple of things that you can
Yeah.
do. So you have something called capture wire.
Right.
So it costs 1.
Yep.
And it's identical to what we did with Maul, where it's within range 3 and it pulls you towards them 1.
Ah. Yeah,
But
I've just read it.
It gives me a pin rather than
Yeah.
giving me an expose.
Yeah, so the way it works is within 3 I get to pull you, but then the chosen enemy character gains broken.
A pin.
That's the okay.
Yeah. So that broken symbol there is a pin.
Yeah. So
which again stops her next movement that she would make.
So I was thinking it's either I do that and I'd get this because of more because she'd be off it.
Exactly that, yeah.
Or I move up and I'd have the priority anyway, but it seems better to pin her.
Well, if you
get her
moved
off it.
up, we'd be drawing,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't flip that.
Oh, even though he's down,
Because they
right,
don't
okay,
they
different
don't break
elevation, right.
ties. Yeah, they don't
Makes more
break
sense
ties.
to drag her off and pin them, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you've got a couple of options here
Yeah.
in terms of which way round you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, you can pull her in any of these directions.
Okay.
But when we do a pull, we have to be mindful of terrain.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't pull her there
Right.
because you always have to go the full distance.
Right.
And that isn't clearing Django.
Right.
You could pull her there.
Yep.
But you couldn't pull her. I mean, you could go in this direction as well.
Yeah.
Which is going to get her further over that way.
Yeah.
And then you would jump up and take the point, basically.
So if I did it that way, I'd get the point because she's not within 2
because
of
she's
it
no
now.
longer within 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But it'd be the same if she was down here as well,
The same as she was down there as well.
and
yeah.
she'd get a pin as well.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
you've got your jump,
Mm-hmm.
so you can choose which order you do them in. So
Yeah.
you could jump up to here.
Yeah.
And then what you're doing is changing the
Oh,
angle
I get you. Yeah.
that you pull her,
Mhm.
basically.
So I can still do a jump, pull her down, regardless.
Yeah, so it'll cost 2 force because it's 1 force for each one.
Yeah, right, okay.
Because you haven't used your jump yet.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, we did the focus first.
Yeah.
Then you got a jump from your combat tree.
Right.
So now those 2 abilities are still free for you to
Okay.
use.
Well, so I'll drag her down then, so she's
Yep.
pinned, and
So you're going to drag her down.
I'll end up there. Yeah.
So
So I can just knock her off there.
you can drag her down to there. Yeah.
So she's there.
She'll go down. What that's also doing is bringing her closer towards your other characters as well.
Yeah,
to,
true. And she's.
to
I mean,
attack.
I know it's not for this turn, but she's not on that point at the minute. If it flips for next phase,
Yeah. So she goes on there.
And
Then Django can spend
he just bounces
another
up.
force.
So he
Yeah.
just-
So he
right.
bounces up there.
You mentioned you've got push abilities, haven't you? Just in case. I mean, he's going to be there, isn't he?
Yeah. So
Right. Okay.
that'll cost you 2 force to
2
do
force, yeah.
because they're both a force each.
So you know these abilities what cost force? Can
Yeah.
you use them as long as you've got force? or
As
is it
long as
once?
you've got
So you
force.
can just
Yeah.
bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. But each active ability
Yeah.
can only be used
Oh,
once per
right.
turn,
Okay.
unless otherwise specified. So
Right.
Snips, for example, she gets to use her jump twice,
Mm-hmm.
but she has to pay for it each time.
Right. Okay.
So you flip this.
Yep.
So that'll go over to you.
Yeah.
And then
I score 3.
you're scoring 3,
So that's that.
pulls you over to there, and then it goes back to me.
Yeah. Discard.
So I've got Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dearie me. What is Rex going to do? We've got a Maul on not much health. We've got a Oppress that we could push off, but he does have lots of things. So I think we are going to go with him. So the first thing he does is lose his hunker token.
Yep.
And then we've got get a move on soldier. So we can move any other Allied Galactic Republic character and make them dash, basically. And they will gain a hunker token. So what we're going to do is let's move. We're going to dash. I just grab those movement tools, please, mate. So we're going to dash this Republic clone commander. So this guy, now, even though these are a unit, because the ability specifies character, I only get to move one of them. Yeah. So they're going to dash to here, and they're going to go up to here with the ingress point. Again, they'll gain a hunker token, because that's just part of his ability.
Yeah.
And then he is going to make an attack against Maul. But before we do, we're going to, first of all, take a focus,
Yep.
which will increase our dice from 7 up to 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then we're going to use something called coordinated fire.
Right.
So this is not exclusive to clones, other people have them as well. But when I make an attack, if I've got clones within range, so this guy is within range 5 of Maul, they have different abilities. Some of them do expose, some of them do pin. This one just does a damage.
Right.
So that's just going to put a straight damage
Okay.
onto Maul. So before the attack even takes place, it's going to be 1 damage. Then we're going to roll our 8 dice into Maul and see what we get. Again, that is a lot of failures.
Right, I'm on 6 defense for its range defense.
It is, yeah. So these turn into 2 strikes. A lot of failures from you as well.
Okay, so we
What
get...
does 1 expertise give you?
it gives me 2.
2 blocks?
Yeah.
So you're blocking 3.
Nice.
So
you got 1
again,
success.
1 success goes through.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is just a straight 2 damage.
Yeah. So I'll flip that over. We've got 3 somewhere.
So you're on 5. So take the 3 off and put the 5 on. Or do, yeah.
Oh, wait, what? Yeah, we're on 7 total, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, maths went a bit mental there. Jeez. Right, okay.
Maths are hard, Paul.
I know.
Maths are hard.
So that also means for more, for every 3 wounds, I roll an extra combat dice in melee.
In melee, yeah, it does. It does. So I have nothing else that I can do now because I've used my 2 actions.
Yep.
I could use a force and do some moves and things, but I've only got 1 left.
Right.
And I don't have any fancy refresh abilities like you've got.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to leave him there. It's quite exposed, but it is what it is.
Yep.
So at the end of my turn,
Yep.
I now score 2.
Yeah.
Now, because I've only scored 2,
Yep.
I haven't pulled it back over to me.
Okay.
So I'm going to gain the momentum.
Right.
But you won't gain one.
Right.
Because it's... The idea being it's like an inbuilt catch-up mechanic for players to use.
Right.
So then again, it's back over to you, Paul.
Darth Maul, beautiful.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay.
That's
I mean,
hyper convenient.
Pretty sure Darth Maul's looking for some revenge. Yeah. Right, okay. I'm just going to use Maul as an absolute tank at the minute and just slice the heck out of you. Because at the minute I've got an extra 2 dice in melee. So when do I choose to to flip the card?
So you can flip your card at any point during your activation.
Right.
But what you can't do is flip it mid-attack.
Okay.
So you can't roll dice and then decide, oh, I'm going to use the options on the other side.
Okay.
So it has to be not during an attack itself. But
right.
Other than that, at any point.
It's going to flip.
It's going Dark Rage, is it?
Nice and easy turn. Yeah, we're just going to run into our lad over here.
Now so remember,
I would come off that point.
You are within range 3.
Right.
So, rather than you running to me, you can pull me towards you for 2 damage. Or you can use 2 force to do it.
Yeah.
Or you can just move up and hit him.
I'm going to avoid it because Obi-Wan's looking at me. And he's going to come for me. So
that is fair.
So I'm going to just move him up here then.
Move within 2? Yeah.
2, there we go.
So you're using that as your first action to do that?
I'm just thinking, could I place him in a position where I'm still on that just in case?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll do that then.
You're going to do that?
Can I do a focus to add dice as well? Is that a thing?
Now, because you've used an action to move...
Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Okay.
If you took a damage or used the force, you could. But you wouldn't have enough actions left then to make the attack because the focus is 1, the move is 1, and the attack is 1.
So is there no upper limit to a dice pool either? You just build and build?
No upper limit to a dice pool. More can be rolling like 13 dice at times.
So I'm running 7 base. With my damage, I'm running 9.
Ugh.
9.
Against my measly 5.
Right, let's go. Come on, Maul. Come on. Come on. Okay, we've got crit. So that's a miss. That's a miss.
You've got another miss there as well. Another fail there.
So we've got 2 hits and then we spend those as well.
Yep. So your 2 expertise gives you
that. Right. You're like, oh, sorry. It's a symbol. Is that a force refresh and a damage?
Have a quick look. No, that's a crit in the damage.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
just turn to crit.
So 1 damage goes into the pool already.
Yep. So crit and a damage.
Yep.
Crit and a hit, even.
No, crit and a damage.
Oh, damage.
So that symbol is a damage.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
So right now you've got 5 successes.
5 successes. So we start on the 2.
Well, I need to roll my.
Oh, you do. Sorry, yeah.
Defense dice first. So I'm going to take them 2 out.
Yep. So,
So
I'm
you're
left
left
with
with
that.
3,
Okay.
basically.
So my base is 2 damage.
So you're starting at
Yep. And then I'll go upwards for another 2.
Yep. So that's
And
4.
And then I'll go there for another.
I only have.
Yeah.
Including the one that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You only need to do 4 damage to me.
Right.
To wound me. So you may want to then look at other things like that little.
I was thinking
there is a
heal
heal.
that to give you that.
Yeah, or you can put a strain on.
Yeah.
Now with conditions,
Yeah.
when you when you turn from wounded to injured,
Mm-hmm.
so when you activate again, you get to remove all damage
Right.
and 1 condition.
Okay.
So your Magna Guard, for example,
So they're gone essentially.
all the damage goes.
Yeah.
But not yet, because you
not
haven't
yet.
activated them again yet.
Oh, right,
But
right.
you'd only get to remove 1 condition.
Right, okay.
So 1 strain
yeah.
isn't actually going to do much. But if you can pile on those
Oh, I
conditions,
see, yeah. If they could cause strain, which they can't,
and you
pointless.
can only ever have 1 condition of each as well. So 1 strain, 1 pain.
Oh, I get you. Okay, right.
Yeah.
They don't really do. So what's the exclamation mark?
Expose.
That's
You
not
don't get your
condition, is it?
expert. You don't get your expertise.
Is that a condition?
Yeah, it's condition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So your 4 conditions are expose.
Yeah.
No defense dice.
Yeah.
Sorry, no defense expertise. Disarm. No attack expertise.
Right.
Strain. Damage when you do something.
Yeah.
And pin. You can't
Okay.
move.
Because my only other option is 1 more damage, but is that a move? Do I get? Is it a
Let's have a
move?
quick
It's just,
look.
it's just an arrow, middle.
Yeah. So
middle
what you've
two.
got on there is you got shoves.
Yeah.
So that's a shove.
Oh, that's a shove, right?
That's a jump.
Yeah. I can't get
So
that
you
far
could
anyway.
jump him up.
I've only got 3.
1, 2, oh, you have only got
Yeah.
3. Yeah. So I would say that actually,
I might shove them closer to these or closer to Dooku. To be fair.
yeah. Well, you only shove in a 90-degree angle, so
Yeah.
they go sort of in that direction.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, for that particular one, it's not going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, I'll tell you
I don't
what.
think.
So what we'll do is we're doing 5 damage anyway.
Yep.
And then I'll just shove him. So
5 damage in the shove. So
I can shove him down. So where's it? So there's
it's
the 90 degree.
So it's 90 degrees from him.
Or from right. So there.
So, but if you imagine you've got an imaginary line that you draw,
Okay, so it could only.
so that's
really,
your direction.
So it'd go there. So is it a move 2? Is it?
It's a range 1.
Or range 1? Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a silly question, but if I shove someone into terrain, do they take damage?
Nope.
Okay, just checking because some games do.
No, there is on some games. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we shove him there then.
So now you have the option to follow if you want.
Okay.
So again, you look at that angle there,
Yeah.
and you can do a range 1 in any direction there.
Okay.
So it could get you out of attack range of these guys, or
I mean,
but it might move you out of range 2 of that.
Yeah.
so,
I'm just thinking if I put him here.
so again, you've got to go towards.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah. So I can't.
so
go
you're
around
looking
there.
at that sort of angle there, basically.
I'll tell you what. I'll stay put 'cause I'm still in that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just in case. So we'll
So-
do that. So 5 damage and shove.
5 damage and shove. So I put my wound on there.
Have you got a 5?
I'll just
you got it,
I'll
yeah.
just leave it off there. So you've wounded him.
Mhm.
So the first thing you do is gain a momentum.
So that's that.
Yep. Now you've used your actions, so
Mhm.
unless you want to do something else,
Don't think
So-
he can. I mean, I could force speed. I could spend a force for all characters. Is he the unit or is that?
he is the unit.
So I
Yeah,
could make him move again if I wanted.
you could
to.
make him move again.
Could I move him up there for? Because that's a move, isn't it? If I spend
So-
a force.
A force speed.
Yeah.
It lets you make an advance.
So I can't.
So an advance is a move,
Yeah.
and you can end that movement at the same elevation or lower. It wouldn't let you.
Okay.
But what you could do is move him to here and use this ingress point
And then he's up.
and pop up at the top there.
Just thinking, you've got some clones over there. They're looking a bit aggressive at my mall.
And this one's throwing a grenade and everything. Like
Yeah.
this one's cowering behind.
I'll tell you what.
her.
Yeah. So if that makes sense, then I'll do what you said. I'll move to that ingress and just get him up there.
Yeah.
And then he's just there. Just,
Yeah. Now you can be within range 1 of it, so you don't have to be that far forward if you don't.
Yeah. I just
want
don't.
to
I
be,
just don't
or
want you to push him off it.
you could be. You could sort of use him there, or you could even. Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah, do that then. Either way, it is a target regardless.
It's going to be a target.
And
yeah.
because I'm on my melee side, his defense is a bit worse. But we'll get to that. It's fine. It's all good.
Yep. So you can either take a damage or spend a force for that. Cool.
Lovely.
Okay. So now you count up your points. You're scoring 1, 2, 3. So you score 3.
Yep.
And it's taking you 1 away from taking the first struggle.
Oh, so all I need to do is get to this.
So the moment the moment they hit, then that's a. So I've got my 501st Clone Troopers. So they are going to do something pretty straightforward. They're going to make a move action. So these guys are going to move, and they'll go here within 1. We're using that ingress point. These guys are going to go here. And this first one is going to make an attack into Maul.
Okay, doc.
But before they do, because these other clone troopers...
coordinated fire.
So we're just going to use coordinated fire and put a single damage on Maul.
Yep. So 1 point.
And then I will be rolling my 7 dice.
I'll sack them off.
So
Okay.
5, 6, 7.
Ooh.
Now, when you make an attack with a unit like this, you don't have to declare both targets. So I can make an attack with him, and if he takes Maul out, he can then attack somebody else, basically.
Oh, they get the amount of dice each, don't they?
They get the amount of dice each,
Okay.
So 7 dice. Wow, okay.
Not bad.
Take them off there.
So I'm running on 5.
That is only going to be 1 extra.
Yep.
So it's 5 in total.
I do
3 of them you can block.
Yeah, I'll pass card to you if we get to it. We haven't got to it, but we've got. So one of those grants me an extra block, so I'm 4.
So you're blocking 4.
Yep.
There's 3 there that you can block.
Yep, 2 crits.
So 2 go through. So that is going to be a pin.
Yep.
So we give him a pin, which means he doesn't get to move the next time he would make a move action.
Yep.
And then 2 damage.
Ooh, okay.
So what's he on now?
He's on
3, 10.
10 out of 11.
So 1 more to go. Right, so the second guy is going to do the same.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, because I've used a reactive ability during this activation, I can't use the same reactive ability
okay, so no
again.
free damage.
Yep,
Right.
so no 1 free damage.
Yeah.
That is a lot of fails.
Right, we're praying though, because you only need 1 to go through.
4.
Blocks 3.
You block 3.
You got a success, but I don't think you do damage on 1 success.
So, I do a pin.
I do a pin. I've already got a pin. So.
If somebody has the condition that you would already give
bonus
them,
damage, is that what it is?
it turns into a damage.
God damn it, okay.
So that will be
1 point.
That will be 1 damage.
That is. Oh,
So-
I keeps that, doesn't he? Sorry.
Yep, so he keeps the pin.
Yep, so we get a point of
So
damage.
he gets a point of damage.
Yep.
Keep all that damage on Maul because it is quite important for him.
Yeah.
So you get a wounded token.
Yep.
Now, there's a couple of different things that are going to happen here.
Mhm.
So the first thing that happens is I gain the momentum.
Yep.
Because I've wounded you. That's the first thing that happens.
Mhm.
Now, Maul has a reactive ability, or an innate ability, I believe, where he can slap you back.
All right.
But
I mean,
it's only
melee.
against melee attacks.
Okay, yeah,
it's
makes
not against
sense.
ranged.
Yeah.
However, I have been brave but foolish.
Right.
Because if you read Count Dooku's leadership, or identity as we call it.
Once per turn, when an allied primary unit or secondary is wounded by an enemy, after the effect is resolved, refresh 2 force. Okay. Then choose an allied supporting unit. 1 character in the chosen unit may dash or make a 5 dice attack.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
irregardless of range, just
no. So everything you've got to be in range for it. So, unfortunately, you don't have visibility. You can't see snips on there. He's down already.
so I can't.
So you can attack a wounded character. So that's absolutely fine. Or you can make a dash with any of these 4.
Oh, is it any of the? Okay,
Yeah, because they're all your supporting characters.
Right. Okay.
So there's a few different things you could do. You could use it to get those B2s that are really far away, further up the board.
Yeah.
You could use it to remove the pin from your Magna Guard, because they can't actually make the dash.
Can I?
Or
can look at my disc. I've used that.
Or you have a Magna Guard
Just attack Anakin.
that is in range of Anakin.
Yeah, just for the lols, I'm going to have a Magna Guard swing his little sizzle stick
Makes
at Anakin.
sense. So it is only a 5 dice attack.
Yep.
But if you did have ways of adding dice in, then they would still apply as well. You don't on this one.
Right. Okay, so it's just a straight 5.
Just a straight 5 dice.
Okay.
It's going to be against my 5 dice as well.
Yep.
So, you know.
Ooh.
I mean,
2 crits and 2 hits. Not bad.
It ain't bad.
Yeah.
So, I've got 2 blocks.
Good.
And I've got 2 expertise.
Okay.
So, my expertise, again, because I'm a primary character,
yep.
you tend to get a little bit of dice manipulation in here. So, this is going to turn into a block.
Okay.
But it's also going to turn one of your crits
into a hit.
Into a strike.
Ah, smart. So I only get
now,
one.
My 3
yep.
block 3 of yours. And that's the only way that you can actually
block
a crit is by manipulating it into something else first of all.
So my base one then is 1 damage and then it's the arrows that I move.
1 arrow, yep. So no, that is a shove.
Oh, it's a shove.
So you can now shove him off here.
Yeah, just yeet him off, I guess. So he's out of it.
Now, you're not going to flip this because they're wounded.
Yep.
So even though they're wounded, they're still able to do things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, really weirdly, because you've just completed something, you've made an attack, it triggers your strain. Now, you can't take any more damage once you're wounded, but your strain still triggers.
Okay.
So you get to remove your strain off yourself.
Right.
Which is helpful because it means then, when you come to
point scoring,
refresh, you've only got 1 condition to remove.
Oh, yeah.
So they've got nothing else on them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So...
But I still don't score this because...
You still don't... I mean, you're already... I'm already scoring that anyway. But so you can't flip that.
Yeah.
Because...
I'm wounded.
You're wounded. Right. Yeah, so you're not counting as contesting. Okay. So, that's all of that done. From here, then, we count up how many points I'm scoring.
Yep.
I'm only scoring 2. So 1, 2 takes me to there, which means I get another momentum. And now you're in a position where you already control 3 points.
Right.
And you only need 3 points to win the first struggle.
So
now...
Could I just forego my action?
So no, you still take your turn. So you still got to take your turn.
Right.
But it changes what you want to do slightly.
Okay.
Because now you want to get into the mindset of...
It's going to change. Where's it going to go?
The struggle is going to change. So if you look at the next struggles...
Right.
I mean, there's 6 different ones that essentially can be picked from.
And because I'm winning, I choose the
side. But they're all over the board, Now, the one guaranteed thing is that the middle point is never active on the second struggle.
Right.
So wherever you go, they're always the ones around the edge.
Right, okay.
So this is less than about murdering people or getting onto the point and about getting up. But saying that, you could still move... You know, you've got the option there to move Savage up and murder one of my clones or...
Yeah, okay. Well, I've drawn this.
Cool, what you got?
It's my battle droids.
Battle droids?
Now, I'm trying to think who you've got left to activate. So you've got Obi-Wan.
So in my deck, and again, we wouldn't show this normally, but I've got Obi-Wan, and I'll give these a shuffle next.
Okay.
Obi-Wan and my clone commandos.
And your clone commandos are... These
here
lads.
And here, and then Obi-Wan's there.
Right. So, I mean, tell you what I'll do then. How do I activate him then?
So just put your B2s back to the top because that's what you would have got next.
And do that.
And you go with that.
So we activate that. So what I'd do is
you're going to go with Savage.
I'd move so he's still in that point. So I've got it still, but I'll be within 2 to attack you.
Well, you don't need to worry about being on that point.
Oh, because I've still got 1, 2.
Well, no, it's not even that. You can move all the way over there. These guys are not within 2.
Oh, yeah.
So you only flip a point. You don't need to stay on it to control it.
Right. Right, nice.
But you've got the potential there for murdering.
Yeah. So I'll...
And remember now, you've only got 2 cards left. You know what those cards are.
Yeah, we know what's coming out,
You've got 4 force,
and
you're going to refresh that force when you've gone through your deck.
Right.
So you've actually got quite a lot of force to play with there. So if you look at his card...
Yeah.
Well, take a quick look at his card.
Savage. We've got Dark Fury. Choose an enemy unit within 2 and roll 5 dice. The chosen unit suffers that. Okay.
Yeah, but he's also got a move that he can make.
Ferocious Rush for a force. Each character in this unit may... so that's just a dash. If this unit is injured, each... No, don't do that. So he gets a dash if I spend a force.
So for 1 force, he gets the dash, and it can be within range 2.
Right, so that makes sense. So do that then.
So you can move him up to here.
Yep. So then could I do Dark Fury, then attack?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes sense. So I would do that, because why not?
So yeah, so you spend a force on Dark Fury.
2.
Is it 2? Yeah,
2.
okay.
Choose an enemy in 2, roll 5 attack dice. The chosen unit suffers damage for each critical and hit result in the roll. If the chosen unit is a force user, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just roll 5 then.
So 5 dice,
So you don't
and there's
even roll
no
defense
defense dice
Oh,
against
shit,
this.
Okay. But am I hitting one who's already wounded? Because this is point.
No, they're not wounded.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not wounded.
So he takes 3.
3 damage.
Yeah, so we ignore those.
So
Okay.
so they're starting off on 3.
Yeah.
Now these guys do have, these guys do have protection, but protection doesn't stop out of attack damage.
Right.
It only stops damage from attacks. So now you can focus
And then attack.
and slap them in the face with 8 dice.
Right, so let me just... Oh, yeah, they've only got one side, these, aren't they? 'Cause they're not...
They do.
Right,
Yeah.
so focus, 8 dice, I guess.
Yep.
Go straight
So
into melee.
I'm on 4 normally.
Yep.
But because I've got my Hunker token and I've got
Yep.
Obi-Wan, I go up to 5.
Okay.
And yeah, that is going to be some
Spice.
dead clones. So 5 strikes so far.
Do I
Yeah, you can
rotate
manipulate.
those now?
Yeah.
So they become... So 2 of them becomes... I'm trying to... So it's 1 point of damage, then turn 1 to a crit, is
Yep, so 1 crit and 1 point of damage. So I'll put a point of damage in the damage pool.
it? Okay.
So let's see.
Oh, not bad.
4.
Yeah.
So it's actually really bad.
Oh, okay.
So that is 1 block.
Yep.
And a reposition.
Oh.
So
Bad for you or me?
for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
for me.
Can you just jump off, though, if you want to?
So I get a full reposition, but my reposition
It comes
happens
after that.
once you've done
Right.
everything else.
So
yeah.
so you've
So
blocked
1
that.
comes out.
So I've...
So that's already out there. So you get 5 successes through,
Okay. Oh, that takes me to the end of my tree then.
which is
so,
enough damage.
So yeah, so I'd go... How much else you got?
Because they've already taken 3,
Yep.
and they've got 1 in the pool.
Yep.
They've got a health pool of 6,
Yep.
which means they only need to take
Only
3 more damage
Okay.
because you're doing 1, but they do have protection.
So if I went brute force, I can score 8 damage, but with no status effects.
Yep.
But if I went across the top there, is that enough to knock you out? And
Yeah,
then give
it
you all
is.
of that?
So you're doing expose. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, minimum of damage.
Yeah.
Expose, strain, disarm.
Okay, so we'll do all that.
Yeah.
And then
there's-
what's the downwards arrow at the end?
So that is a free active ability, but
Oh.
you've already used both of your active abilities this turn.
I haven't done Furious... Oh, I did. I did Furious
You
Rush.
used
yeah,
that
I
at the
did.
beginning, yeah.
Right, okay. Wow, Savage is a bit of a... Yeah.
He is,
I can-
but
I can
he only
te-
has 4 defense
Yeah,
dice.
I can tell his glass cannon, but Jesus Christ, when he hits... He also gets, you know, when you attack a primary unit, an extra 2 dice.
Yeah, he does. He's brutish.
Wow.
So
Big lad.
I've taken all those things. I get to do a couple of things now.
Yep.
So the first thing I get to do is
So he's done.
my reposition.
Yep.
So I'll just trigger,
Mhm.
pass me that here.
Yep.
So what I'm now looking at is, okay, it's going to be these. So I want to make sure I've got my characters
Yeah, move your people
closer
in.
to these.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is move them down to here. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi lets me do something with his called knowledge and defense.
Mhm.
So after an attack targeting a character in an allied Galactic Republic unit that is resolved, so we've done that, that character may remove all of its hunker tokens.
Yep.
So I've got a hunker token there. If it does, 1 character in the unit may heal. So recover 1.
Mhm.
For each hunker removed, so we get to do that.
Mhm.
Then each character that healed may dash. So we're going to do a couple of things with that.
Yep.
To try and get rid of some of these conditions. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to spend that hunker token, and we're going to heal ourselves for 1. So we're going to heal ourselves and get rid of that expose.
Yep. So what does expose do again? Sorry, is that defense?
No
Negative?
defensive expertise.
Oh, right, yeah.
Then we're going to use that. We're going to make a dash.
Mhm.
So we're going to dash just to there.
Mhm.
And the same way that when your Magna Guard did something,
Yep.
it now triggers my strain.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to get rid of my strain.
So you take 3. Oh, you don't because you're wounded out. Yeah.
And then I'm just left now with that 1 condition.
Yeah.
So when I flip,
Refresh it goes. Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of that 1 condition.
They're
So,
very hardy.
clones are all about those hunker tokens, that
Yeah,
defensive side of it.
Yeah.
They have a lot of steadfast, a lot of protection, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. But you gain a momentum, not that it matters too much, and you score 1, 2, 3, 4, taking you to there. And because they've touched, you win the first struggle.
Okay, so I collect that.
So you collect that.
Knock it up.
That goes to you. We take all of this momentum off here. Nothing happens with any of our characters.
Right.
So they're kept in exactly the same state.
Yep.
It's still my turn next. And then we go to choosing the second struggle. Now, because you won the first, I get to pick which of the 2 maps. So we've got so much for the element of surprise. So it's this way around. So what I'm now looking at is, what am I already in control of? Remembering that these will flip. So all of these will reset. So I'm looking at this and going, okay, well, this is the only one. This one here and this one here I have control of. So that's the one that I'm going to pick.
Yeah, I'd only have this one. So do we flip the rest?
So I'm going to go like this. So all of these get flipped to non-active.
And we get rid of these.
Get rid of all the get rid of all the tokens in the middle.
That one stays.
That one's going to stay where it is, but you lose control of it.
All right, and then we've got to capture it again.
And then you've got to recapture it. Yeah.
I'd like to take a minute to thank the brand new sponsor of the channel, Loyalist Games. Loyalist are a great local gaming store in West Yorkshire. They stock all of your favourite MCP and Shatterpoint products, plus a huge range of other gaming systems. They also have an awesome gaming space where weekly events are held. We've already been running our MCP League that's coming into its 4th season. We've hosted a number of MCP events and will be doing so for Shatterpoint as well. So hopefully we can see you guys there at some of the events in the future. There'll be a link down in the description below, and if you're looking for a place to get all of your hobbying purchases at a great price, then look no further than Loyalist Games. Okay guys, so as I mentioned, this isn't going to be a full battle report. It's playing in the background now, so you can sort of see what is going on. But this was really about giving Paul a game, just to get him to understand the game. Hopefully you guys found it useful as well. For those wondering, we did play out the second struggle. Paul said that he didn't want to have as much help on this one, so I just sort of gave him some hints and tips, and I ended up winning out the second struggle. And then by the time we got to the third struggle, he said that he didn't want any help and he wanted me to play him as I would play anybody else. So I did end up winning out and taking the game 2-1 in the end, but not a reflection on Paul as a player at all. Paul's a really, really nice guy and also a really, really good wargaming player. We've had lots and lots of games over the years, and he's just one of these people who I thoroughly enjoy playing with. Guys, if you could do me a favour, if you could head on over to Paul Rolls Dice. I'll put a link down in the description below and you should see something up on screen now. Do go over and show him some love. He is predominantly a Twitch streamer. But his second love is, or really his first love is, you know, getting in front of people and actually playing some games, flipping over some cards and rolling some dice. He does some really, really good tutorial videos on a lot of board games, which I really, really enjoy. And actually, when we finished this, Paul did show me a game of the DC game. We ended up playing DC versus Marvel. I used my Marvel characters from Marvel Crisis Protocol, and it's a very, very different game system, but it is a game system that I very much enjoyed. And yeah, not sure if it's one that I'm going to pick up anytime soon, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Guys, I want to take this opportunity as well, as this video is playing in the background. I want to give a big shout out to all of our Patreons, especially over the past couple of months. I appreciate that the amount of content that I've been putting out there hasn't been to the same quantity, at least. Hopefully it's the same quality, or even better maybe, who knows. But I know it's not been to the same quantity as I've done previously. As I've mentioned, that's been for a couple of reasons. Predominantly, I've been working a lot more, but also my health hasn't been too good. I've had a few problems that has just meant that even getting in front and doing the live streams, I've just not had the energy to be able to do it. So a big shout out to all of the Patreons. So to the Lovable Misfits, Mark Knight, John Naylor, Jared Funslow, Gift of Chaos Studio, Will, Dr. David Cameron, Mark, Benign Gnome, Will Scarvey, Jonah and Darren McNally. I also want to give a shout out to our well-laid plans members. That's going to be Lou the Lunatic, Nerd Herder, Laurie Saffin, Rusty Bratton, Benjamin Grosek, and then a big shout out, a huge shout out to our inevitable crew. That's going to be the Swedish Troll, Dave Miller, Justin Burns, Dan Bryan, Mid-Table Obscurity, Christopher Williams, Matt H, Ewan Smith, Bobby Marmo, Matthias Lazou, Daniel Evans, and John Carlson. Really appreciate the support, guys. And I also appreciate the support of every single one of you. I understand not everybody can support me on Patreon. If you did, I would, I wouldn't need to be working anymore. But even just liking, sharing, commenting on the videos, it really does really does help. If you do want to be part of our Patreon crew, you can find a link down in the description below. And for as little as £1 a month, it really does help. But as I mentioned, I appreciate not everybody can do. And as I say, just those likes, those shares, and hit that subscribe button as well if you can. So we're getting towards the end of the game now. As I mentioned, when we went into the third struggle, I did play as I would normally play, showed Paul all my moves, as they say, and then we got to the end and managed to score out. And as you can see right at the end here, and then I score out.
So you'd got 2, right?
3.
3.
So 2 for the middle.
Yep.
1 for this one.
Oh yeah.
Puts me to there.
Done. Yeah, banging.
Good game, mate.
Yeah,
good
enjoyed
game.
that. Really good.
Cool, Paul. So you played your first game of Shatterpoint.
Yeah.
Never played it before. Never
No.
really seen anything.
No, stayed blind to it.
Obviously, you've played. Now you did mention that you played MCP before, didn't you?
Yeah, I've had a few games. Yeah,
but it plays completely different.
It's not like
So
MCP at
different,
all. No.
So different.
3x3 map size skirmish scale. That is the only comparison I would give it.
Yeah,
it plays very different.
Now you play a lot of skirmish Legion, don't you? When you play
Yeah.
Legion, you tend to play at a smaller scale.
Yeah, we play 3x3 skirmish scale.
How do you think it compares to Legion in terms of the gameplay?
It's a totally different game. Legion's very wargaming, isn't it? Like Warhammer 40k and things. This is again, it's not MCP, but it's do you know what I mean? It's smaller units. It's more compact character size and things like that. There's always something to do on every turn as well. I was just saying a minute ago, there's no dead turns or dead air or anything.
Yeah.
At first, I was a little bit dubious about defense being on D6 and attacks on D8, but it's totally balanced, absolutely balanced. I can't see anything being OP, I guess, from my first game. I'm sure there is. I'm sure you've seen and you guys have seen on your channel because you've played a million games of this now.
Somewhere between 3 and 1 million.
I'm sure if I asked you out of all of these, who is the piece of trash and who is the OP cannon?
There are some. Yeah, absolutely.
I can see that, but I think after a couple more games, I'll start being able to utilise synergies and things a little bit more.
That's the big thing I find with this game is it is about the synergies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we went
thematic pretty much, didn't we?
We went thematic, but like we didn't get through our entire order decks more than once, right?
No.
We got through like 1.5 order decks, something like that.
If that, yeah.
So essentially, you're only activating a character once, maybe twice in a game.
In the entire game.
But there's so much things that happen with the synergies and the movement and everything else that it doesn't feel like you've only activated somebody once and they're sat there doing nothing.
Yeah, and whereas with Legion as well, because characters are so spongy, irregardless of Imperial's role in red defense and Rebels' role in white, the amount of health you have on these characters, it is absolutely pointless going to try and table people. It's not about that at all. It's definitely objective focused. I didn't expect it to be that objective focused, especially in stages 2 and 3 where you're rolling a dice and it's like, oh, I've got to be up here now, I've got to be down here. Yeah, really interesting.
It's one of the reasons why the Separatists are pretty good. They get a lot of movement. I think I mentioned to you, didn't I? That,
lots of dashing. And
loads of dashes and things.
Yeah.
Kalani, who's one of the tactical droids, he adds so much. I mean, when his tactic ability, by the way, is when he activates, every other battle droid within range 4 can dash.
Right.
So
That's
if you
pushing them all
if you
up.
line up and you pull him as your first activation,
Yeah.
if you've deployed correctly, you've got 4 characters
straight
that get
up
to
the
dash
field.
up the board and get really far up and start taking those objectives. But it's nice, you know, as I mentioned, you've got Obi-Wan, who is very much more defensive focused, gets all the hunker tokens and things, and then you know, Anakin, who
is a tank.
I mean, he's not a glass cannon, right? He's frontline tank, but you know, the fact he gets to double tap somebody,
that's
is pretty good. But for me, I love the back and forth. Like, I killed Dooku, but then you got to attack with Dooku, and then you got to attack with the Magna Guard, and then one thing we didn't do actually is, you know, you sort of did it on Savage, where you rolled the 5 dice. Django actually has something similar. What is it called? Not So Fast.
Oh,
if another enemy character within range 3 activates, he gets to roll 5 dice.
Oh, so like
and do a damage for each one that they do.
So he's got an inbuilt Overwatch.
Yeah, so if somebody activates really close by and they're only on 1 or 2 health,
you can just spray them.
One force, he can just take them out.
Yeah, that's good.
So there's so many things that happen in the game. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun.
I'm glad. Something you think you're going to get into?
I think I might do, you know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
We've converted another Legion player into Shatterpoint.
Yeah, I'll start on tabletop first. I'll start on TTS, and then see where it takes me.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent.
Okay, guys. Well, there we go. I had a lot of fun showing Paul this game, and I think it's fair to say, whilst we may not have fully converted him, he's got a lot of Star Wars Legion. I think it's a game he's definitely going to be picking up on. And I want to just pick up on something that Paul said, is that it is a completely different game. I've played Legion for quite a while. It's actually the game that got me back into tabletop gaming in the first place before I found Marvel Crisis Protocol. And it plays completely differently. Even the skirmish version of Legion is a very, very different game. So, you know, if you are a Legion player out there and you are looking at getting into it, I would definitely recommend heading over to the Discord server. There's lots and lots of players on there who have played Legion in the past. And if you're looking for some help, tips, advice, anything, it's a great place to start out. And if you are starting out in this game, why not go and check out my starter series where I covered every single aspect of the rulebook in video format, so you do not have to read it. Guys, we're going to leave it there for this one. One final thank you is going to go to the guys at Leodis Games. Big thanks to them for being a sponsor of the channel. It really does help. And as I mentioned, guys, we've got the Discord, we've got the Patreon up and running. Head on over there and check it out. And as always, it's going to leave me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, may the Force be with you.